to the channel, everybody. I hope you're all doing well. It's been a few weeks since I put up a video. I meant to be more consistent than that, but, we had a lot going on. A lot of productive things happening outside of work. And, of course, I did have a lot of overtime, so I chose to enjoy my time off, not really doing videos, but just spend it with my fiance and some family, and took a trip to see my fiance's parents. Few states over, so that was, we made the most of our time. So, hope you're all been doing well since I've been gone, and welcome back to the channel, and welcome back to the swing of things. I got a few videos to do today, starting with another drink review, this one being the Mango Fuego Zero Sugar C4 energy drink. I have not tried this one. Sometimes I do a drink review of things I've already tried, but this will be an actual reaction to a drink I've never had before, so there is something wobbly about it. It's not perfectly balanced, so I'll try to be careful with that, but it's got some cool art on it. If you wanted to read the facts, the nutrition information, here you go. You can screenshot that and read it. I've been seeing this everywhere, so I don't know if this is newer or just the places in my area have stocked it, but I don't remember ever seeing this up until probably the last few days, so, who knows. Admittedly, I've been looking for the flavor called Serial Killer. My friend up in Washington State says that he has them all over the place over there. I've never seen it. That's the one I want to try the most. He says it tastes like Fruit Loops, but if I find it, I'll do a video, but I haven't seen it, so. Anyway, today we're going to talk about the movie Obsession. I wasn't sure if that's what I was going to do for this video, but I've decided that is what I'm going to talk about today. Obsession has been out in theaters for about a month and some change, I believe. So there will be some spoilers. If you are interested in a spoiler-free discussion, maybe I'll ramble about it in another video. But this will have spoilers. So, not that I feel like you can expect most things that are going to happen in that movie in a good way. I'll get to it. But anyway, let's go ahead and crack this open and get started with the video. Alright, well, it's got a very strong mango scent. I do like it. I think it smells pretty good, actually. The flames on this imply to me that maybe there's going to be some, there probably isn't going to be heat, but maybe there'll be like a tangy, I don't know what flavor. Let's just go ahead and try it. I've only smelled it, so. Oh, wow. There is a little bit of I don't want to call it heat, but like burning sensation that kind of just falls in the background of the mango flavor. It feels like I'm eating flango. I'm eating flango. Feels like I'm eating mango flavored, like Flamin' Hot Cheetos or something. Like, it's kind of got that flavor, but it's not a strong flavor at all. It's just kind of like a additional flavor. If I didn't know, or if I didn't infer that there was going to be some heat to it, I think that would have been weird. I don't know how long it would have taken me to notice exactly what it was that I was tasting. I might have thought I was having an allergic reaction. But I don't think so. I don't think so. I think it's intentional. But anyway, I'm liking it. It's not bad at all. So anyway, I'll sip on that, talk about it more later. Let's jump into talking about Obsession. So the movie was directed by Curry Parker. He's a pretty famous social media comedian, like internet person, like he and his friends, which I did recognize a lot of faces in this movie because they are his friends, or most of them, or some of them. Like they're from that crowd of people that he makes skits with online, or used to. I guess I don't know if he still does now that he's making movies, but that was the main reason I wanted to watch it, because I'm like, oh, well, I know these guys, I see them on Instagram, and I think it might be fun. And then, of course, I go into the most anxiety-inducing movie I've ever seen. The movie has me afraid of corners in a dark room now. Not really afraid, but unsettled for sure. It's been probably about a week since my fiance and I saw it, and truthfully, I really, really enjoyed the movie. Like I was talking about spoilers or whatever, I'd say it's still a predictable movie. Like, I did call the ending from the trailer. That's not a bad thing, in my opinion. I think this was one of those cases where it was about the journey. Because just because I can guess the ending doesn't mean I could guess how we would have gotten there, and I would have gotten it wrong. If I tried to make like a beat for beat guess on how the movie was going to go, I would have gotten 2 or 3 points right. The beginning, maybe a halfway point in the end. Everything else was so... Excuse me. Everything else was kind of like... It was a lot. For those who don't know, or... I'm just going to explain it whether you've seen it or not. The trailer kind of conveys that there is a woman one of the main characters is interested in, or obsessed with, you might say. And this dude's pretty much a loser. He can't tell her how he feels. She doesn't feel the same way. And he was going to give her a one-wish willow, which is like, it looks like it would be a kid's toy. It's like, oh, whatever, she might find this, funny. And he was going to give it to her. It's like, say, oh, you can wish for whatever you want. It's supposed to be silly. But they kind of get into a bit of a kerfuffle when he's dropping her off at her house. He's pretty much saying all of the wrong things. Like, if there were a bunch of QuickTime dialogue decisions, he's making the worst ones possible. So she goes in her house, and he's just sitting there like, well, shit. And he makes kind of a stupid, well, I wish she loved me more than anyone in the world. And he breaks the one-wish willow, which is how you activate the wish. And he thought it was bullshit. He's starting to put the stick back in his bag, and it cuts to her already standing outside of her house, like staring at the car. It's got some the sound design of this movie really, it makes it creepy. Pretty much. Like I said, there will be spoilers. So that stuff is in the trailer. If you're interested from there in watching the movie and seeing how it progresses, I'd go watch it. Otherwise, I'm gonna start talking about it now. Something I noticed even from the beginning is the sound design is just incredible. Like, she's not possessed. There are 2 Nickies in her. There's the one that is real Nikki, and then there's, we'll call it Wish Nikki. It's easier to describe that way, but it's pretty much a Nikki that was created by the one wish willow that occupies the same body, and it kind of just suppresses real Nikki. The director has said it's not possession, it's not a demon, it's not anyone else controlling her. It is another Nikki that is absolutely obsessed, in love with Bear, the main character, the main male character. And arguably, I'd say Nikki's the main character. When she's not in the scene, it's kind of like, you're like, all right, is she showing up? You know what I mean? And she does very often. So it's like, I'd say she's the main character. But anyway, even from this very beginning scene, when Wish Nikki is in control and talking to Bear, the sound design is a crazy, like, there's like this sound in the background that you're like, all right, this is playing when she's not in control of herself. And she kind of briefly snaps out of it, and the sound stops, and she goes, "Oh, what the hell? I thought I walked inside," pretty much. And she's all the way at the car talking back to Bear now, pretty much begging him to come inside, or begging him to let her go with him home. He was assuming at this point that she was very intoxicated, maybe on some drugs like she used to be, and that was what's accounting for the strangeness that she is now conveying. Anyway, she convinces him. He takes her to his house. She is like commenting on how much she loves his smell and whatever, and he's trying to go to sleep, and she's trying to make out with him. Halfway through their make-out session, she like snaps out of it and flies off the bed and into the corner of the room, and it's absolutely terrifying. Not absolutely terrifying, but it is quite an efficient jump scare. She's kind of just snapping out of it, and then immediately going right back into it. The movie is about her losing her autonomy, and they convey that in very intense ways. I'm not going to describe the entire movie, but that's pretty much the premise. You can kind of see how it's escalating, and then she snaps out of it. It's escalating, and then she snaps out of it. She does a lot of creepy things when she's snapping in and out of it as well. But to put it this way, she is absolutely aware that she is doing these things with Bear, and she does not want to be. She's kind of like a backseat passenger in her own body, and every attempt she makes to leave it's shut down immediately. And those are, in my opinion, the creepiest scenes, which I will tell you the creepiest scenes, but just to show you how quickly it escalates, that same night, Bear goes to sleep and he wakes up, and Nikki's not there. And as he walks out, I guess I should have explained this. Point is, Bear's cat had passed away at the beginning of the movie, and he had brought him outside. I don't know what he did with the cat, but she dug up the body or found the body or whatever and put him on the floor in his kitchen with a bunch of candles and stuff, and was talking about like a ceremony or funeral or something. It was really disgusting. It was creepy. And with all that, right, it only gets worse. And the four main characters in the movie, they all work together at the same place. So they're seeing this weird behavior. They are assuming that Bear is using her because they all think she's going through something, or I'm not going to get into the weeds of the entire movie, but point is, they think he's manipulating her, and maybe she's using drugs again, and that's explaining the weird behavior that she's displaying everywhere. And at some point, he kind of just like, "Oh no, I love it," they had a whole montage of them having an extremely happy relationship after that, despite how weird that stuff is. And he keeps acting like he has no idea what happened. I believe that too late in the movie, he's starting to make the connection that it's the One Wish Willow. I mean, dude, come on. I mean, it wasn't like so late in the movie. It wasn't even at the halfway point, but I'm like, so much has happened. You have to know it's the One Wish Willow immediately. I mean, as an audience member, I guess I'm allowed to say that. Or not allowed to say that, because obviously I know the movie telegraphs it to me. But to me, everything that's happening to him is telegraphed too. I mean, she's clearly not into him, and that's why she keeps freaking out and running away every 2 seconds, then walking back and apologizing. I'm like, was she doing that before Bear? Come on. Anyway, I will say this right now. Bear is the bad guy in the movie. He does not care in the slightest that he's taking away her autonomy. He starts caring when it inconveniences him, and then things start to escalate and people start to get hurt. And even then, it's not even necessarily that he cares about that. It's more that he cares that he's an accomplice in it, and he has to deal with the consequences of the actions Nikki takes. And that's the only reason he does the right thing, which we'll get to. But some of the creepy highlights of the movie, she the actress for Nikki does some incredibly terrifying face distortions, and along with the sound design, the lighting team did incredible special effects work with them too, where they just really show her very terrifying in dark corners of houses, and the way the light's reflecting off just her eyes, but you can't see any other facial features. And there's one scene where Bear wakes up in the middle of the night, and she is standing in the corner of a dark room, and you can't see her until she starts talking and slightly shifts over. And she's talking about, I love watching you sleep, and creepy stuff that makes it really hard to go back to sleep in real life. And he's talking to her and kind of upsetting her, and she's starting to snap out of it kind of, and then she does some weird voice distortions. It's extremely creepy. I'm getting chills thinking about it right now. And they put some uncanny valley makeup on her face so it doesn't even look like her to us. And then she does some very creepy movements as she starts approaching the bed, and then just walks incredibly, insanely, demonically back to the corner. And Bear's freaking out, and then she does a lot of creepy things. There's a lot of silence. And then eventually she just yells at him to go to sleep, so he turns over. And when he opens up his eyes, she's not in the corner of the room, and she starts yelling from another room. And then that's where she does the creepy thing that they make fun of in social media, where she's holding a vase in front of her face. And then eventually she puts it down and lays down. And that's probably, I'm getting uncomfortable just describing it right now, so I'm going to stop. But that's probably one of the worst scenes. That's top 2 worst scenes. Depends on my mood. But there's that. Skip a little bit later in the movie. For context, there's a party they all go to, and there's a girl who is interested in Bear that if he would have just acknowledged earlier, they wouldn't have been in this situation at all. But they're playing a drinking game that says he needs to kiss her. Obviously, that does not happen. Nikki does not let that happen. She goes a little crazy. She tries to hurt her. She snaps out of it. And for a brief second, she's like, oh my God. She breaks a beer bottle and tries to unalive herself with that. And then immediately snaps out of it and just starts laughing. It's really insane. But anyway, later that night, Bear gets a text from this girl to meet her out in the park. They know each other the most. They've been friends the longest. And clearly this girl, Sarah, had a crush on Bear, and the dumbest thing she did was try to see him the same night that everything else just happened with Nikki. She's gone insane, and clearly she thinks she's above it. So Bear sneaks out, goes meets her in the park in her vehicle, and she's making the moves on him. Well, obviously, that's not going to work. It's telegraphed the whole scene that Nikki's going to come behind one of them. We don't know who she's going to jump, because he did lie about where he was going. He said he was going to the restroom. And what bothered me the most, I'm like, why don't you just drive? Why'd you have to park somewhere? I mean, Bear of all people should have said, let's just get on the road. Nikki's insane. But he didn't say that. They stayed parked in the park. And again, spoiler alert, despite it being telegraphed, Nikki just comes from sprinting behind Sarah's side and headbutts her head through the window. Puts a brick on the steering wheel. This gets gory. She just bashes her head into the brick in the steering wheel 100 times, it feels like. And they talked about it, in an interview. They had to cut that down by 40 or 50 head bashes, and an extra scene where she was still alive at the end of it all. She looked like Glenn in The Walking Dead, but worse, after Negan was done with him. It was an incredibly disgusting scene, and Bear did not do a damn thing to help her. I'm not saying he could have helped her. I'm not saying I would have reacted any differently other than the sheer panic. But does it matter? He let it get this far. There were several moments where he's tried to alter the wish, not cancel it, but alter it. They even call their hotline or whatever. And he didn't want the wish to go away. He wanted Nikki to be obsessed with him. He just wanted it to be less of an inconvenience. And this is the first time that it's like, oh my God, someone has died because I let this wish keep going. If he does make that realization, he doesn't care enough, because it is telegraphed to him, told to him point blank, the wish will exist as long as he is alive. So, they don't even say as long as she's alive. It's very possible, even if she was able to kill herself, that maybe he would just be zombie Nikki. I don't know. I don't know how serious that wish would have been, but they were very clear. And yeah, anyway, so that car scene is another brutal one to watch. Nikki is pretty much saying, all right, well, you wanted this. You know, you made me do this type of stuff, and now you have to help me get rid of the body. And she makes him complicit in it. He helps her a little bit. And as she's claiming that she can handle the rest, she's like, I got the rest of it. You go home, clean up, go to sleep. He does not go home. He goes to the place he bought the willow to buy more. It is a funny scene with the guy at the register, but pretty much he finds out you have one wish. So the only other option besides, offing himself is to have someone make a wish that counteracts his. So he buys 2. And this is something people miss. He buys 2. And initially, he was going to have his friend Ian, one of the other guys, make a wish that cured Nikki. But when he shows up at his house, he's asking him to make a wish that is something to the effect of, I wish that Bear never used his wish or never made a wish. And like I said, it shows him buying 2. So it's heavily implied, in my opinion, that he was just going to make the same wish again, but try to be more specific so that it wasn't so bad. It wasn't such an inconvenience, which is a ridiculous thought. But I think it just helps solidify just how bad of a person Bear is in this movie. And Ian does not take him seriously, and he wishes for $1 billion, which immediately starts raining from the roof. And Bear's just defeated. He's just absolutely defeated. And he goes home, and this is the other worst part of the scene, or worst part of the movie for me, as far as hardest to watch. But before we get there, I want to say this drink's really good. I'm really enjoying the drink. And there was something from the movie I wanted to say that I just completely lost in the middle of that ramble. Oh, this is not necessarily the creepiest scene, but this is the scene that solidifies for many people that Bear is the villain. Whenever he's going to meet Sarah, I think is when it's happening. Nikki's asleep, and she starts whispering to Bear, saying that she's asleep. Kill me. It's the real Nikki talking to you right now, is pretty much what she's saying. They have a small conversation, which made me so nervous that she wasn't going to wake up. Well, that it wasn't a trick or something. But Bear, instead of saying, I'm going to find another way to help you or something, instead of saying, I can't kill you, I don't know if I can, something, more victim-like or innocent or whatever, he says, what's so bad about being with me? Bro, what? Look what she's done. Look what she's doing to herself and to other people. She doesn't like you, bro. I mean, this is awful stuff. It's really hard to watch. And I think a lot of people after that scene, they're like, oh my God. Yeah, they wanted us to maybe feel, like this guy's just pathetic, but he's legitimately a coward and doing this on purpose. And that's pretty much how it is. But yeah, anyway, so I'd missed that part when I was doing my recap. That's more what this is, a recap instead of a review. But at the end of it, the worst scene, one of the worst scenes for me. He goes home, and it's a creepy shot of like all the lights being off, I think, and stuff, and he sees Sarah kind of just flayed open and sitting on a chair in the dining room, completely naked, scalp missing. And then you see Nikki walk out smoking a cigarette, even though she's never done it, because she's trying to be Sarah. She's wearing Sarah's scalp and hair. She had carved her tattoos into herself, and it's absolutely disgusting. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. This is probably a horrible ASMR video, but anyway. Man. So the scene plays out as you'd expect. He's got one more wish. He leaves it in his backpack because he doesn't have it. And he goes to the bathroom. And he's going to try to... Wait, no, not yet. So they pretty much get into a kerfuffle and they're yelling. And she's got the gun that they had talked about being in the store that they worked at, like in the safe. She had taken it when she went there. And Bear comes up and dies a hilarious, like he goes, "Oh my God, Bear, it's real. Look, I got $1 billion." And he walks in and he gets 360 no-scoped by Nikki. One shot, headshot. Dies exactly as deserved. And Bear takes the gun and goes to the bathroom. While Nikki's yelling and begging from outside. And he's pretty much debating how he's going to off himself. He almost uses the gun for, oh my God. I had an alarm set, and it just went off in the middle of that, and it scared the absolute crap out of me. Anyway, so he's deciding how he's going to off himself, and you see, now I got to edit this. I'm a little frustrated, but anyway, he doesn't do it. He's too much of a coward to even do it that way, so he takes some of his grandmother's pills that were still in the cabinet. And it gets quiet outside, and then he's sitting on the bathtub, and it's some kind of melodramatic scene, and you could tell at the last second he's about to make himself throw it up. He can't even do it that way. He's so much of a coward. But as he's about to throw it up, he grabs the trash can. You hear the willow break from the living room. Nikki made the same wish. I wish he loved me as much as I love him. And he puts the trash can down and he walks out, absolutely enamored with Nikki, despite the carnage and the bodies and the disgustingness. And then as he's approaching her, he had already taken the pills and he starts dying immediately. And she's about to kill herself when the wish ends. She snaps right out of it. Because Bear's dead. And that's how the movie ends. No, I skipped over a lot of stuff that other people found incredibly creepy, but those were my scenes that really made me uncomfortable. And as you can tell, it makes me very anxious because the alarm just went off and I damn near had a fucking heart attack. Just talking about it, it's a creepy movie. It's unsettling. The sound design's insane. Nikki is so creepy. The voice, the face, it's all unsettling. And Bear deserves everything that happens to him. He deserves more. He deserves worse. Sarah did not deserve that at all. And Ian was not a great guy. But not a good guy. Not a bad guy. But not a good friend for sure. There's a whole lot to it. Like, he was sleeping with Nikki before. On and off. And pretty much giving Bear all the wrong information. Like, saying, try this, try that, knowing it wouldn't work on Nikki. It's a weird friend group. And Sarah was way too mad. She did ultimately get herself killed. She still didn't deserve it. In my opinion, she was still probably the best of them. Of the four, anyway. As far as, like, character that we see. So, anyway. Insane movie. I don't know if I'll ever watch it again. There's some nights that I'm like, man, I really want to see it again. But once I kind of got over it and I was able to sleep again, I don't know if I'm going to want to watch it anymore. Really ruined my sleep schedule. It wasn't that bad, but I just get randomly anxious about weird, uncanny things. I always did. I have an overactive imagination. So anyway, I probably shouldn't have done a horror movie recap. Some people say it's not horror, but I found it scary enough to count it. But maybe thriller, I don't know. Psychological thriller, I don't know. I do recommend it if you like any of those kinds of movies. It's very successful to the point that they canceled the digital release. They postponed it, and they're extending the theatrical run, and it's still doing numbers. We watched it not too long ago. The movie's been out a while, and it was a packed theater. People brought their kids to watch this movie, like first and third rows, by the way, like actual children under 8. Like, this is traumatizing. What are you doing? You have to know what kind of movie this is. But anyway, it's a good movie. I don't even want to give it a rating. I don't. I feel like horror movies are hard to give a rating, because if you enjoy the content of the story, then you also have to factor in, was it actually scary? Was it trying to be scary? Everything scares me, so I can't really accurately judge if the movie was scary to general audiences. But from what I've seen other people talk about, people have been just as, affected by the movie. So if I had to give it a rating, probably would give it an 8.9, maybe a little less. As far as horror factor, like, the movie unsettled me. It was an anxiety-inducing movie, but the sound design, just how loud it gets, did most of the heavy lifting. But Nikki was a standout actress. She was absolutely terrifying. Replace her with someone less charismatic or less effective, it would be a worse movie, in my opinion. I don't know if I'd like it nearly as much. The other actors are okay, but she does, like I said, the heavy lifting from the actor's side of things. Anyway, I do recommend it if you like those kinds of movies. If you don't like those kinds of movies, I cannot recommend it to you at all. As a matter of fact, I can't tell you how crucial it is to avoid seeing clips of it if you can't handle that kind of stuff, because a part of me wishes I never saw it. But that's just because I'm a big old baby. But anyway. So, I really like this drink. When it goes down the right pipe. So I'm kind of hunched over doing these videos, so when I take a sip too fast at this weird angle, it just kind of goes down the wrong windpipe. But anyway, I do really like this drink, and I probably will get it again, actually. So I will rate the drink higher than the movie, probably a 9. It's not my favorite. I think the heat, if I drink this and only this, I don't think I'd like it anymore. It's kind of like occasionally if I want something with a different, a lot of energy drinks can taste kind of samey, but when it's got this heat, this kick in the background, it really makes it for kind of a unique experience. So I think every once in a while I'll incorporate this into my rotation just to mix it up, but I couldn't drink this 2 days in a row. I wouldn't want to, so if that tells you anything. As kind of a novelty drink, I'll give it a 9. If it was a scale of I can have one and only drink that for the rest of my life, this would actually be probably a 2. I probably would not pick this. Probably not the worst option if I was picking one for the rest of my life. At least it's got a unique flavor, and I do like the mango flavor, but I think the kick, it'd just be too annoying. I wouldn't love it every single day. But like I said, novelty. Anyway, I've gone on long enough. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys liked the movie, let me know. Let me know how you feel about it. If you wish that I never talked about a horror movie on the channel, please also let me know that down below, and I'll never do it again. I don't know if I'm unsettling anyone, but hopefully my, probably inaccurate description is tolerable. Anyway, thank you all for stopping by, and